Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. We've been getting quite a few comments about people wanting us to build a PC with little to no RGB. I decided that I would kind of indulge this idea by using RGB parts, since basically everything now has RGB, and make the lighting not as prominent to show people that if you don't want RGB and you buy RGB parts, that you still have some options. In this video, I built a pretty powerful machine featuring the Ryzen 7 3700X and the RTX 2080 Super in Thermaltake's brand new S500 TG, and dialed back the RGB as much as possible because yeah, you guys have been asking us to do it. So yeah, this machine isn't really meant to be cheap or a budget PC. It's just meant to exist because that's what everyone requested we do when they just wanted us to use these parts. So yeah, that's what we did. Let's do it. Like usual, this is not a permanent system. However, because you guys love the last few videos we did with benchmarks, we decided that we would show you how this machine performs. So stick around till a little bit later to see how it did. Also, make sure you watch these videos to the end because we get a lot of comments about things in our builds that are almost always answered in these videos. So yeah, watch the whole video, just a heads up. Also, the parts that we use for these builds are stuff that we have on hand. If we haven't built with it or we didn't use it, it means that we just don't have it. So yeah, there's also like a PC part picker list in the description for those people who are keen to see all of the parts that we use for all these builds. Anyway, enough talking, more building. Let's go.
So
This combination of parts is one of the most requested configurations we've had over the last month or so we decided that we would give you guys exactly what you wanted. The motherboard is the brand new Gigabyte X570 Aorus Master. This board is an absolute beast and should easily be able to handle the upcoming 16-core 3950X. Speaking of CPUs, the CPU is the AMD Ryzen 7 3700X. The 3700X is an 8-core, 16-threaded multitasking and gaming boss. It's a great bang for buck chip, and I know we've used this chip a lot in the last few weeks, but it's the most asked about chip in the comment section. So we have to give you guys exactly what you ask us for. To cool the 3700X, we use the brand new Thermaltake Flow DX360. This cooler cools your CPU quite well, and yeah, we're gonna be doing installation guides for both Intel and AMD systems coming very, very soon, so hang tight. The GPU that we use in this build is the Gigabyte RTX 2080 Super Gaming OC. The 2080 Super is kind of one of those GPUs that really shouldn't exist, but like I've said a few times in this video already, this is one of the most requested GPUs with this configuration that we've been asked about. So yeah, we indulged that. The RAM chosen was 32 gigabytes of Thermaltake water RAM at 3200 MHz. We decided that we would not use the water block because, to be honest, the RAM doesn't really even need to be water cooled, and I think the RAM looks pretty slick without the water block, not to mention the less RGB, the better for this kind of build, so that's why we took it off. Lastly, the case, it's the brand new Thermaltake S500 TG. This case is basically the budget version of Thermaltake's A500, but it's made out of steel, not aluminium, like the A500, which brings down that price a whole lot. As far as building concerned, this is the biggest praise I'm gonna give it, because this is also the biggest praise from the A500 video we did as well. It's super easy to build in. It's identical to build in actually to the A500. So yeah, I like building in this case. I had no problems with it. The cable management's really good. It's got included Velcro tie downs and there's additional tie down points. The depth between the motherboard tray and the side panel is huge, and there's plenty of space to hide the rat's nest of Thermaltake RGB cables behind the motherboard tray. I still don't understand why those cables are so long, but it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Overall, the case is pretty nice, but shares the same issues as the A500 in terms of design. But at the same time, there's not really that many deal breakers with this case. So if you want to see what we said about the A500, there is a link in the top right-hand corner right now, because these cases are basically identical. So I didn't want to like redo stuff we've already talked about. All right. Let's talk about fans and lighting and aesthetics, because everyone wants to know that stuff. The cable extensions are the black and white ones. The fans we use, the Thermaltake Ring Duo fans, and where possible, the lighting was either like turned off or set to white or set to really dim white or just turned off, because that was kind of the whole point of this video. All right, it's benchmarking time. Just be aware, I didn't test your system with every single game on earth because there's just so many hours in a day. And yeah, I use our usual suite of benchmarks, so you can go back to our other videos and compare this system to those other builds to see how it did. Benchmark time, let's go. This build turned out really nice, the gaming performance is decent, and I'd go as far as saying that this is a really nice setup for a very, very capable workstation setup. Before I tear this down, I might do another video about Linux gaming with this setup, but I haven't decided if I'm gonna do that yet. So yeah, stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, you know what to do. Tell us what you hated about it. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And less RGB sometimes is nice. And that's kind of like the whole point of this. It's not RGB, it's just white lighting. So yeah, we made it dim and a bit more subtle than we usually would. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice change. Thanks for watching.